Wow. Welcome, everyone. We are going to talk today about some new agent training tips, including, is there room for more agents? Now, if you're sitting here, you're a new agent and you hope that there is room for new agents, right? That's what you're betting on. The markets are in flux right now. I have been in this business when we had 1,700 real estate agents. Right now we have like 1,300 real estate agents, and that's up. Last year, 18 months ago, we had, hovering around 1,000. So we're up a lot of agents right now. That's because the market's hot. People are selling houses. People are making money. And everyone on earth is talking about real estate right now. Everybody you know is talking about real estate right now because it's bonkers. I mean, just genuinely, I have no other term for it. It is bonkers. So that is causing a lot of people to get into the market and become real estate agents. And that's wonderful. I will never, ever say that there are too many agents in real estate, because every single agent who comes into real estate has just as much of a chance at becoming a really top producing, and I'll tell you my definition of top producing, effective real estate agent. I've interviewed a lot of real estate agents over the years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who want to become a real estate agent or already are a real estate agent. And it 100% boils down to the type of person you are. You are going to dictate your successes in whatever you go into. I know I'm sounding like a mother here, but it's true. If you want to be successful, you will be successful. The real estate firm's job is to provide you the resources and the platform and the motivation to be able to do your job well and to do it easier. It does not have to be reinventing the wheel. We have been, helping agents sell houses and organize themselves and provide resources to buyers and sellers for a long time. We're not recreating that every single time. When you join a firm, your hope is that they are going to provide you resources and training that will help, make that bell curve to success a little shorter, so that learning curve is shorter for you. But it's going to be your personality that is going to determine whether you're a successful real estate agent or not. There is that old adage that, a small percentage of the realtors are doing most of the business. And, to some extent, that's true. There are agents who, I'll say this, we judge how many people got paid last year by how many 1099s we send out, right? If you did not have any sales, we're not sending you a 1099 reporting your gross commissions that you earned. So last year, we had roughly the same number of 1099s as the year before. So we haven't really seen a ton of new agents, but everybody who made money continued to make money. So that's a varying degree of 3 or 4 closings and 25, 30 closings per agent. But that boils down to where you are in your life, what type of agent you are, what type of personality you have, what you are defining as success for yourself. I have many, many agents whose success for them is just having a closing every other month. That's all they're trying to do. And we're going to provide the same resources to them as we do to agents who are trying to sell 30, 40, 50 houses a year. So it really is a very personal choice as to what you think you want, what success looks like to you, which is why we have that goal setting workshop every January, because it is truly unique to every single real estate agent. So that really has to be customized to what your goals are. We're here to help you achieve your goals, not to tell you what your goals are or what they should be. Okay. Now we're happy to help brainstorm that with you, but we're not going to be saying that the most successful agent at our firm is the one who sold the most real estate. That is a single data point deciding what success is. So with that mindset, I really truly believe, this is not just me blowing smoke, I really do truly believe that the market is always ready, willing, and able for more agents. There's always room for more agents, because it truly depends on the agent and what they're wanting to get out of their real estate career. So your job in a market where we have a lot of real estate agents and not a lot of houses is to set yourself apart. And I joke with my kids that I don't sell houses for a living. I communicate for a living. My job is mostly communication. It is emails and text messages and phone calls and late night hand holding. You know, it is as nuanced as the timing of when I reach out to clients and deliver news to them. It is as nuanced as the timing at delivering offers and not delivering offers, even down to the day, the time of day I'm going to be delivering the offer. If there are no other competing offers, I may not be delivering that offer at 9 p.m. I may be delivering it at 8 a.m. the next morning. It depends on the agent I'm delivering it to. It depends on the seller. It depends on a lot of things. And that is only what's going to come from some experience. Now, I'm happy to share all of that. That's the whole point of these phone calls and why I hope, and I'm always excited to see some more seasoned agents who tune into these new agent trainings, because it is the seasoned agents who are going to be able to lend you sort of what my dad calls gut feel. You know, gut feel, he can't explain why he knows the value of houses. It's just, he's seen so many thousands and thousands of houses. He just has an idea of what the home would sell for. You know, it used to irritate the fire out of me when he would, you know, I was young and looking at houses with him. He'd say, well, what do you think it's worth? I'm thinking, I don't know. Why do you think I would know what this house is worth? I've got to go look at the comps. I would go look at the comps and my dad would be within $5,000 of the comps. I mean, he just knew the inventory. He knew what houses were selling for. And it used to burn me up because I don't like him to be right. I don't like him to know more than me. So I know he does, but you know, that doesn't mean I have to like it. I'm obviously a firstborn, highly competitive child. So, but he had this gut feel developed. You know, I have developed it now. At least I had it until about a year ago. I would say no agent has gut feel anymore, not in this market. You know, my clients last night offered $13,000 above the asking price and didn't get it. So I would say my gut feel is off, you know, but I think that is more about the market than about me losing my touch. Right. And so I'll tell you this is a hot tip from your broker. When we lost last night and the agent called me, the listing agent called me to give me the bad news, you know what I did? I said, hey, well, do me a favor. We're making offers all the time. Like, can you give me just a little bit of information about the other 4 competing offers we were up against? Were they asking for inspections? Were they being flexible on closing date? Were they cash or lending? You know, and she was gracious enough to answer some of those questions. What she told me is that all of the offers still had inspection contingencies. Okay. That's important for me to know. If she had said to me, well, none of them had inspections, yours was the only one that had inspections. Well, I mean, maybe I'm going to change how we make our offers. Maybe we're not, but at least I know that now, that part of our competitive edge is not going to be, you know, we're having fewer inspections. Our competitive edge may need to be more in line with the market, which is we're not even having inspections, which of course, quite frankly, I think is reckless, but that's what I need to know. How am I going to negotiate better on the next offer if I don't have sort of a taste of what the offers are looking like in this market, you know? So I was very thankful that the listing agent was open with me about that. So in the case of last night, it just boiled down to somebody else offering what I would call stupid money. They just offered a ton more money than us. So, you know, we're probably not going to compete with that, but at least it's helping me fine tune what our offer could look like, you know? So I was very appreciative that she shared that with me. Ask questions. If you lose a bid and the listing agent is willing, you know, say, hey, how could our offer have been stronger? You know, I want to use this information for the next house we bid on. And she might say something like, you know, well, they really didn't like that you were doing this, that, or the other in the contract. They weren't thrilled with the $500 earnest money deposit, right? Well, maybe my buyer can do $2,000, you know, maybe we just put 500 because that's what they wanted to put down, you know. That's all data you can gather to help you be more successful on your next offer. So ask questions, you know. Listen, I've been doing this a long time and I was asking those questions last night. I don't I do not have an ego when it comes to doing real estate. I'm never going to act like I'm too experienced to ask questions. I don't think that reflects poorly on me. I don't worry that the listing agent's going to go, whoa, Ashley really doesn't know what she's doing over there, right? No, I want to do a good job for my buyer. So I'm going to ask questions, ask questions of us. I'm a curious person. I want y'all to be curious people. Okay. So ask us questions. Other ways you can set yourself apart is truly the number one realtor skill I think you can have is superior communication skills. Practice your texting and your emailing, because I'm here to tell you they're probably terrible. I had an email conversation with one of our agents last week, and it was just me trying to find out some information about a contract. It took 6 emails till we finally picked up the phone and talked to each other, because I would ask 2 questions and her answer would be no. Okay. Well, is that no to the first question? No to the second question? Could you please explain a little more? So we picked up the phone and got to the bottom of it. If that's what's happening during a conversation between a listing agent and a buyer's agent, it's not going to go well. So I try to over communicate. When I was communicating with my buyers last night, I had them on a group text thread and we were waiting to hear if we'd won the bid. I was texting a response to them, and I texted them and said, no hints from the listing agent yet. And then I was just letting them know I had not heard anything from the listing agent yet. And then the next sentence I wrote was, I wrote something like, the other offers may be higher. Okay. But I realized that my buyers could have read that text message to mean that I talked to the listing agent. She hasn't given me any hints, except that the other offers may be higher than ours. And that creates confusion. If my buyer can misinterpret my text message, then they're going to have some sour grapes later if they realize that's not what I meant to say. So I just inserted, in my opinion, the other offers may be higher. And that made it very clear what I was saying. I was saying that the listing agent has not given me any hints to the offers yet. And in my opinion, the other offers may be higher. I went on to say, it's not usual for me not to have heard anything from the listing agent since they were presenting at 5 and it's now 7 p.m. unless they're working another offer. Right? I did not want them to misinterpret my text message and later say, but Ashley, you said the other agent said the other offers were higher. No, I didn't say that. Where did I say that? And then they screenshot the text message to me and I go, oh, yeah, I can see how you could read it that way. Okay. Write your text, read it again. Read it as your recipient. How could they possibly misinterpret this? Because if they can, they will. You've all seen text threads that just go sideways because nobody knows what they're asking, right? And pick up the phone and talk to them, okay? That is the number one way for miscommunication not to happen. And, I'm very guilty of preferring to do things via text and email. It's a multi-prong philosophy. One is I can't be misinterpreted if it's in writing. My buyer cannot say they didn't know it was a septic system if I have put it in an email to them, drawing attention to it. Okay. If I tell them on the phone, my dad does everything on the phone. He's working a transaction right now and he worked out some repairs over the phone with his buyer. And I said, please sit down. Write her an email that just says, hey, thanks for chatting with me this evening. I'm glad we made some determinations as to what you would like to have done in terms of repairs. Just for your records, I'm listing them below so that you have them for your records. Do you know why we did that? I had him do that so that later when the buyer says, hey, they didn't fix X, Y, and Z. Well, we didn't ask for that because remember we had a phone call and here's the email where we went back over again what we were going to ask for. We opted not to ask for X, Y, and Z because we were going to ask for these other items instead. So I've been very nervous that everyone I'm selling houses to right now, they are buying houses at top market value. And I was joking with a friend. I was like, remind me in 5 years when none of them remember that I told them right now that they have to stay in their houses 7 years now. You know, they're buying at top market value or above market value. They are not going to make any money unless they wait 7 years to sell their house, but they're not going to remember in 5 years. In 5 years, they're going to be like, hey, Ashley, we're ready to sell our house. We found another one we like. Will you come over and tell us what your house is worth? And I'm going to make the long, sad drive to their house, knowing I'm about to give them bad news. And they're not going to remember 2021 when I said to them, guys, we're offering 15, 20 grand above asking. You're not going to be able to sell your house for 7 years. They're not going to remember that. They have very short-term memories, you know? So that's what I'm waiting to happen in 5 years. Yes, Jennifer, did you have something to add?
So I'm going to chime in for just a minute to backtrack a little bit about texting and emails. Please. And read and reread and reread, especially if something's a little bit heated or there has already been some confusion with it. I am very guilty of doing this myself, but if I'm not in the best mood or I am stressed to the max, I can take a very innocent text message or email and read it, and it comes across as the worst email ever. And it's just the mood that I'm in when I read it. So be cautious, and sometimes it is better just to pick up the phone and have the conversation as well as the email, just so that there's not confusion on the tone of the email or the text message, because I'm very guilty of that. And a very innocent email, if I'm having a bad day, can come across as the worst thing ever, and it really wasn't meant that way. So
that's right.
My 2 cents on that. Sometimes
you have to remember,
have to pick up the phone.
You have to remember, text messaging serves to deliver information. Phone calls build connections. Mm-hmm. They just do. You know, you're hearing each other's voice. You're using tone. You're joking around with each other. Text messaging is for delivering communications only. Phone calls are for building that connection with that person, whether that be your buyer or your seller or the other agent. And you are really obligated to build these relationships with these other agents. It is a very odd industry where we are competitors and coworkers, you know? It's odd. But because of that, it makes this unique connection between us where I'm going to be submitting. And I'll tell you, I had to terminate a purchase agreement last week for my clients. And this was with an agent who dominantly sells or lists properties in the area where my buyers want to live. I handled that termination and release with kid gloves. Now, first, just out of mutual respect for having been the listing agent who's being terminated, okay? But I also know it's highly likely I'm going to be showing this listing agent's other properties in the coming months to these same clients. So it was critically important that I deliver the news that we're terminating and releasing on this listing in a as palatable way as possible, because I wanted to maintain that connection. I can 100% guarantee you that was a phone call. That was not an email. That was not a text message. Bad news should be given in person. Listen, you always give your good news in person. You would never say, I'll just text my buyers and let them know they won the bid, right? No, you're going to call them and you're going to have them both on speakerphone and you're going to be like, you got the house, you won, right? You would always do good news on the phone. We have to do the same with bad news. You know, I understand that human nature is like, ooh, I really don't want to make that phone call. I do not want to call them and tell them we're terminating, right? But that is what has to happen. And again, I'll just be the mother for a moment. You just have to put on your big girl and big boy britches and just do that hard conversation. And the earlier, the better. Don't drop that on them at 8 p.m. at night if you knew about it at 3 p.m. You know, just do the hard thing first, get it out of the way, and your day will be much easier. You cannot just dread it all day long, you know. And you'll have heard me say this before, but it's my favorite. Mark Twain said to eat the frog first thing in the morning. If you have to eat a live frog, eat it very first thing in the morning, and the rest of your day will be fine. Otherwise, you're worried about that live frog for dinner all day long. Okay, so setting yourself apart, communication. I will beat this drum until I die, because communication breakdown is where where I spend a lot of my time. I spend a lot of my time as the broker talking with other brokers about how our agents can't get along. Okay. It is almost always a communication breakdown, almost always, and it is fascinating to me that as soon as my direction is, you know what, start carbon copying the two brokers into these emails, all of a sudden, everybody is just so nice and so communicative. And the emails now begin with, good afternoon, I hope your day's going great. That was not the style of emails that I'm seeing screenshots of prior to that. And of course, I'd love to tell you that the Wainwright agents are always the best behaved. I would love to also tell you that's true, but we're all humans and we all have bad days and we all get irritated. And we all think the other party should be doing more of their job, right? And the truth is they probably should, but we're all independent contractors. We're all going to have our own business styles. I'm going to respond to something very quickly. My business philosophy is I don't like to let things sit around, right? Somebody else's business philosophy might be, listen, I'm not going to get myself stressed out unnecessarily. I've got 5 days to do that. I'm going to take all 5 days, right? Neither one is wrong. The problem is when communication isn't set up to set everyone's expectations. A quick email from the other agent to say, you know what, I have got just a packed schedule for the next couple of days, or my seller isn't available for the next couple of days. So just so you know, I'll probably be reaching back out to you on Thursday about this. That way, the other agent isn't stewing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, waiting for a response and thinking, I already looked on the MLS and they don't actually have that many sales. So I don't know what's taking them so long to get this back to me. Okay. Don't be that agent. If they've got 5 days, give them 5 days, right? I mean, just because they're not working at the speed you would work at, would I prefer that? Absolutely. I absolutely wish every other agent I work with worked the exact same way I work. You know why? That would be a clone of me and I need a clone of me. But that's not what we're doing here, okay? We're working with each other, not against each other. So communication, again, be the agent who over communicates. No one is going to say, good God, I worked with Ashley and just too many emails, man. Just like she just kept filling me in on facts all the time. She just over communicated. No one has ever said that. Okay. No one's ever said they over communicated with me. Okay. The complaint is people are not communicating enough. I get it. We're just doing our job in our own movie, living our own life. But remember, there's somebody else counting on you. So I employed Rebecca Hartley, a transaction management coordinator last year. She's wonderful. The best thing she does for me is once a week, she sends out to all the parties, including the other agent, just a timeline of where we are in the transaction. That means once a week, everybody's going to hear what we've accomplished and what is still coming up. I wasn't getting to that. That was a communication that had fallen by the wayside for me just due to time constraints. So instead of letting that part of my business model fall apart, I just outsourced it and have somebody else doing it because it is critical. It is critical to communicate. Okay, other business practices that, in my opinion, make winning agents. I've already beat the drum of communication and you'll hear me beat that every week. But processes, you've got to have processes in place. It is emotionally exhausting to reinvent the wheel every single transaction. Okay. You should not be crafting your time for inspections email every single time you send an email to buyers about the inspections coming up. You should have a draft email that says time for inspections, and you have got it all in there, and you then customize that draft email to that particular transaction. And I want you to expand that out into all areas. If you have done something twice, you should have a process for it. Okay. We have a handout called From Contract to Closing. It's in that shared Google Drive. And if you need another link to the shared Google Drive, just let us know and we'll send it to you. In there are some manuals called From Contract to Closing. That's because for the first 27 transactions I did in my career, I just was winging it every single time. And every time I would wake up in a cold sweat thinking I'd forgotten an inspection timeline or I'd forgotten to order the inflow and infiltration inspection. So I finally just got a flow chart down of every single conceivable step that it's going to take from the time I write a contract to the time it goes to closing and I write a thank you note. So we've got a 3-page document, one for sellers, one for buyers, that when you're working with a seller or a buyer, you can go through that almost like a checklist and make sure you've not forgotten anything. That is a process that I put in place because, well, you know, my nerves couldn't handle it because I was always nervous I was forgetting something. Okay. So you should have processes in place for new clients. When you meet someone, what are you going to do? You're immediately going to put them into your client relationship manager software so that you can start emailing them and have their phone number and email somewhere other than, and usually I can look and just find a scrap of paper sitting around where I have jotted down somebody's name and phone number. Well, I can tell you that's going to get lost and that's $6,000 I won't make. So you need to have a process in place where when you get a new client or even a new customer, somebody who comes into an open house, they need to go into a database for you. Okay. So when you have a new client, they go into my database. They get an email from me telling them how happy I was to meet them. Then they get an email from me that is a buyer interview form. Okay. That buyer interview form is also on our shared Google Drive. And Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind dropping in the chat window a link to the shared Google Drive, and then additionally a link to that From Contract to Closing folder that's in the shared Google Drive. Thank you very much, ma'am. So they're going to get the buyer interview form from me. The one we have in the shared Google Drive is very basic. It has the company logo on it. And I left room at the bottom of the second page for you to be able to put your own branding on there. You can insert your own headshot. You can insert your own contact information on there. And you can even edit it and add more questions if you wish. So you're just going to save a copy of that to your Google Drive, and then you're going to edit it in there. So feel free to borrow it, take it, make it your own, customize it. So once you've got that buyer client filled out, that buyer interview form filled out, then it's time to go ahead and set up an auto search on the MLS. And you're going to put in a saved search and you're going to add them as into the contact management platform on MLS. And you're going to set up their saved search as a subscription. That means that anytime a house comes on the market that matches the saved search you saved for them and matches that search criteria, the MLS is going to go ahead and email that listing to your buyer, independent of you. If it goes on the market at 3 a.m, they're going to get an email immediately after that, letting them know about the property. Now, are you up at 3 a.m. hitting the hot sheet button? I hope not. Give me another week and I probably am, because this market is bonkers. But it lets you have the functionality of being up 24 hours a day looking for property for your buyers. So they're going to have that email waiting for them when they wake up in the morning saying, hey, a new property hit the market. Would you like to go see it today? So that is part of my processes that are in place when I get a new buyer. And I try to do that within 24 hours. You know why? When they meet me and they reach out to me and they say, so-and-so referred me to you, they are hot on that real estate topic right now. If I wait 3 days to set them up for auto search and the subscription, they may already be deeply embedded in Zillow or Realtor.com instead of me as the resource for property. Now, I still want them looking at those other ones, but they are excited. I need to set them up when they are excited about real estate, okay? So I'm going to try to do all of this within 24 hours of meeting a new buyer. Other processes that are going to help you, other than fast turnaround times and excellent communication skills, is processes which include scheduling and goal setting. You should be having a meeting with yourself or another real estate agent once a year at least. Quarterly would be ideal. Find an accountability buddy. You've heard me talk about that. If you find an accountability buddy and just say, hey, can we have a Zoom, or can we meet at a coffee shop once a quarter and just kind of go over our goal setting? You're both going to benefit. If you have ever had a workout buddy who just is going to text you and make sure you're coming to the gym, you know that if somebody is waiting for you at the gym, you're much less likely to blow it off, right? Same with eating buddies and all, nutrition buddies, all that kind of stuff. These work, which is why people use them. So to just count on only yourself for your business seems silly. Find somebody who you can bounce ideas off of. You know, Jennifer, Donna, and I are happy to help. We can't be everyone's accountability buddy. We are happy to share all of our experience and all of our resources. But you need somebody who you are their only accountability buddy, so that you guys can really fine tune each other's business plans and brainstorm together. And I promise you, every agent at the firm is excited to do so. Okay. Everybody wants everybody else to be successful. Okay. And goal setting is part of that. So I'm going to open it up to any questions you may have before we do our last little bit, which is every week I try to have a get business quick idea. Anybody have any questions though, before we move on to that last piece, or anything to add? I'm always happy to hear other people talk. Anybody? Okay. Well, Jennifer, did you want to add something? Okay. So my get business quick idea for the week is to buy from your school fundraisers. Okay. I did this last year. It worked dynamite. And it wasn't one of my kids' schools. It was one of my past clients who I was Facebook friends with. And I noticed that their school was doing a fundraiser. I bought 25 potted plants from the school fundraiser. Again, not benefiting my kids' school, but benefiting a past client's kids' school. So those school fundraisers, gift wrap, cans of popcorn and peanuts, all of those things make great gifts for your past clients or future buyers, or your list, your past sellers. So you're going to be probably buying some gifts anyway. So why not buy a whole bunch of gift wrap from a past client's kids' school fundraiser, and then drop gift wrap on everybody's front door right before the holidays? All of your past clients with a cute little note from you. What you're doing is you're supporting that past client in their personal life. I guarantee you, because they told me so, when they pulled up in their minivan to pick up 25 potted mums, everybody was like, good golly, who'd you sell all those mums to? And they're like, our real estate agent. She bought all of these. People were like, who is your real estate agent? And then I took those mums and delivered them to past clients just as a fall pop by. Essentially, I had a cute little card on it just to say, hey, thinking about you and your beautiful home. And I put it on the doorsteps of past buyers, on the doorsteps of their new homes. So it was twofold for me. I needed to be doing a little token, gift. And this was $8 per past client, and everybody loved them, and it supported a school fundraiser. So for me, that was a big win-win. I plan on doing that every year. And I may even do gift wrap this year, or canned peanuts or something. We'll see. So anybody have any questions about that? Or has anybody ever done that before? Y'all are a quiet group today. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Crickets.
I'm going to, and Jennifer has shared in the chat window lots of links to the Google Drive, including to our training folder. I'm going to stop sharing right now.